Today we're talking about something that has changed my life, my journal. Now, I don't write entries in this journal every single day. I use it as a productivity tool. And this all started at the top of this year when I decided this was going to be the year I finally got organized, because I've struggled with it in the past. There's been moments where my life felt like this runaway train. And I'd tried other things before. I've watched a bunch of YouTube videos about journaling, a bunch of videos about productivity, but I could never get it to stick. It always felt like this tool that was supposed to be helping me just turned into another task. Let's face it, the reason why most of us are picking up a journal and trying to become productive is because our life is so busy and we're already struggling with prioritizing time in the necessary ways. No one wants to sit down and color code a notebook, create a bullet journal that takes 45 minutes out of your day. So this year I set out to create something that worked for me, a system of journaling that kept me organized and allowed me to get my thoughts out on paper, but most importantly, a system that was simple and easy to stick with. So today I'm going to be showing you how I keep my journal, and I'm going to show you how you can too. What is up, y'all? I'm excited to show you this. It's a little bit different than what we normally talk about on this channel. There's a lot of echo here because we're in my kitchen, so I do have this mic right here. But the reason we are in the kitchen is because this is where I sit down basically every single day to do this little productivity exercise that I'm showing you today. Now, this is very simple. It's 5 basic steps. Like I talked about in the intro, that's the whole point of this. It's for everyone. It's not a task. It is a tool. And that is what is so important about this journal. It's what's so important about writing down your thoughts, planning your day. So step number 1 is finding the time of the day where this productivity journal can just fit right into your life. You see, we have these times during our day where we just sit around doing nothing. We waste time on our phone. We lay in bed for an extra 30 minutes, whatever it is. There is a point in your day where you're just wasting time doing something else, and that is where the journal is going to fit in. For me, this is breakfast time. Typically, I'd make my breakfast, I'd make my coffee, and I would sit around on my phone, which is not a good use of my time. So now I spend this time creating this productivity journal, and it takes 10 minutes, 15 minutes. The time that I would normally spend eating my breakfast just sitting on my phone is now spent doing something that helps my entire day. So that's step number 1, just finding the time in your day that you're wasting and fill it up with this journal, because it should only take you about 10 minutes a day, or possibly even less than that. Now, real quick before we continue, I want to thank Squarespace for sponsoring this video. If you're watching this video, I gotta assume that you're trying to make your life easier, and Squarespace is hands down the easiest place to build a website. Do you have a side hustle, you have a hobby, you have anything that you're creating that you just want to share with the world? All of these things need a website, and Squarespace has you covered. Do you know how to move a file from one folder on your computer to another folder? Then you know how to design a website with Squarespace. Their templates are so easy to use. All you gotta do is fill in the blanks and drag and drop media, and bang, you are done. It took me one afternoon to build my website, evanranft.com, which is a huge part of my photography business. I actually have a video on this channel all about how I built that website. I literally show you exactly how I do it. I'll go ahead and link it in the description down below. But while you're down below in that description, go ahead and click on the link. You can start your free trial and start building a website with Squarespace today. And if you go to squarespace.com/evanranft, you can also start a free trial, and you can use code evanranft to get 10% off your first purchase. So that's squarespace.com/evanranft to start a free trial, and you can use code evanranft to get 10% off your first purchase when you are ready to sign up and finalize your website. So head to that link in the description. Thank you, Squarespace, for sponsoring today's video. So step number 2 is creating your daily to-do list. Now, what I do here is I write the date at the top of the page. Pretty obvious for a journal. You got to know what day it is. And then I create a list of the things that I want to accomplish in that day. Typically, this list is 5 or 6 things long. Now, something I try to do here is I try to not overpromise for myself. I try to not put too many things on this list because it can get overwhelming and you don't actually accomplish your list. And then it just becomes one of these things where you lose the productivity of it because you're not actually fulfilling all the things you want to do. It becomes overwhelming. So what I recommend is starting small. Start with like 4 things that you have to get done in that particular day. So typically what happens with me is when I create a more conservative list like this, maybe 4 things, I usually get these things done way faster than I initially thought I could. And I end up adding things to that list for that particular day, and I end up getting more done. And see, with me, I've found that the opposite thing happens when I don't write this list of tasks down on paper. It's like a game your brain plays with yourself. If you know you have to do 4 4 things in a day, and only those 4 things. You can't physically see them on a piece of paper to check off. Your brain makes you take all day to do those things. It's like when you go into an 8-hour shift at work and you know you only have 2 things to do, you might do those 2 things first in the day and then do nothing, or you might wait all day and do those 2 things at the end of the day. This is something that I think we've built a pattern for by the way schools are structured. You're used to going to school all day, accomplishing a certain amount of tasks in that time, whereas when it comes to being an entrepreneur, a creative person, or just anyone in general, productivity is not like that. You don't want to just accomplish 4 things in a day that really only take you 2 hours or 3 hours to get done. So the third thing we have to do is check that each thing on our to-do list corresponds to goals that we have for ourselves. You want to make sure that the roadmap you're laying for yourself is actually going to lead you to what you eventually want. So there's a few ways you can do this. We're going to talk about one at the end of the video. It's actually the last step. But one thing you can do is write down all your long-term goals when you first get the notebook. For my notebook right here, the first thing I did is on the first page, write down all the extreme long-term goals that I have. I'm talking like 5, 10, 15-year goals, lifetime goals for myself. So when I write down a list of things that I have to do, I take a quick second to identify what goal each thing in that list is working towards, and I write it next to the date in the journal. So for example, let's say one of my tasks today is to edit a YouTube video. The goal that is working towards is my goal of this year, getting to 500,000 subscribers on YouTube. So I will write 500K subs next to the date. Another example of this could be, let's say you have a goal to run a sub 20-minute 5K, and you have a 5-mile run written down on your to-do list for that particular day. You have a time goal you want to hit. Next to the date on your to-do list, you're going to write sub 20-minute 5K because that is the goal that one of your tasks is working towards. It's pretty simple here, but it just keeps you on track mentally and makes sure that you're putting your energy into things that actually give you the things that you want. Number 4 on this list is what I call the plan section or the journal section. Now, for me, my journal is really set up around my business. So most of the things I'm writing in here are business goals, business tasks for my particular day, and a lot of those tasks involve creating YouTube videos or creating plans or things that I need to do, ideas that need to be jotted out and listed out on paper to get them out of my head. So let's take me filming this video as an example. On the day that I'm filming this particular video, I'm going to have that written out on my to-do list. So then under that particular list, there's going to be an outline for this particular video. It's going to be my plan for the video. Now, let's say I'm someone who isn't necessarily using this journal for business. I'm using it more for personal goals. You can use this section as a quick journal section. You can write down your thoughts, what's going on in your life, your progress towards your goals, how you're feeling about everything, just to get your emotions and thoughts out on paper. And let's say you're using this journal as more of an exercise tool. You can write down your training log in this planning section. Let's go back to that 5K example. Every day after your to-do list, maybe you write down your mile splits. So as you're setting a new day's goal for yourself, you can consult the previous day's training log and see, okay, yesterday I ran this much, today I'm going to do this much. Now, the 5th thing we got to talk about is something that I don't do every single day. I only do it one time a month. It's about goal setting. So what I do is at the beginning of every month, I sit down for a little bit of extra time. I typically do this on a Sunday, maybe for 20, 30 minutes, and I create a loose plan of how the month is going to go. I figure out, okay, for this month, I want to do this many videos. For this month, my revenue goal is this. So the way I use this is basically a roadmap and a plan for a particular month. And what's good about this is when you write out your short-term goals, your plan for a month, when you're creating your daily to-do list and you're identifying the goals that pertain to each item on the list, you can go back to this page in your journal and say, okay, cool, my goal for May was to make, I don't know, $5,000 extra dollars, and this task on today's list is going to help me reach that $5,000 goal. Now, one thing I want to make sure you know is that this plan at the beginning of the month, it doesn't have to be set in stone. It doesn't have to be perfect. What I like to use it as is just a roadmap for myself so I can get the month going and know which direction I'm trying to move in. And there's a lot of months, this month being one of them, where in the middle of the month, I create another page like that and I rewrite down all the goals and objectives that I have for myself and kind of redirect the ship, as you would say, because you know, things change. Nothing is ever perfect. You got to readjust your plans sometimes. So there's plenty of times during a month where I sit back down and readjust this plan and figure out where we're going to go for the second half of a particular month. But that is everything I do with this productivity journal. It is very simple. Like I said, anyone can do it. It is the productivity tool for everyone that shouldn't take up very much of your time. The phrase that I like when pertaining to this journal is it is a tool, not a task. Unlike a lot of the journaling and productivity videos that I've watched on YouTube that inspired me to create this thing for myself. So real quick, to close this thing out, I'm sick of sitting like this, but I want to make sure I have the mic here because the audio is terrible. We're really really quick, gonna run through a typical day for me. So I did this morning. It is May 15th. So my list today is pack orders, post YouTube revenue video, which is out on the channel right now, and quick plug to my Patreon, patreon.com/EvanRanft. If you want my podcast and you want exclusive videos, head over there. Also, I have to complete the journal video today. That's what we're working on today. Check Patreon consulting email. Quick plug on the Patreon again. You can consult with me there if you would like. And last but not least is plan the second half of May. So what have we done so far? I have packed orders. I've checked the Patreon consulting emails. I'm working on this video. So the goals that these pertain to is my 500K YouTube subscriber goal for the year and my personal revenue goals for the month, which I'm not going to share with y'all. So under that, I have a plan for this video right now. Number 1, find extra moments in your day. 2, create a task list. 3, identify goals. 4, the journal/plan section. And 5, the monthly outline. So we did exactly that in this video. It was written down right here. I was actually staring at it the entire time in the video. So that is everything for me. I'm gonna plan out the rest of this month. I'm gonna stop sitting like this because my neck is starting to hurt, but I hope the audio was okay for y'all today. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, hit that thumbs up, subscribe for more videos like this one. This is probably gonna be the last time I record in my kitchen, but hey, this is where the magic happens. I sit down here or I go outside, and that's where I write down these lists, and this is where I use this tool. I bought this notebook not too long ago, and I'm right here in the book. So we've used a lot of pages since I got this, I think in December. So everything I've done for the year is in here, and everything has been going pretty well. So I hope it helps you out. If you enjoyed the video, like I said, thumbs up, subscribe. I will catch y'all next time.